So far, we have seen the creative thinking process as well as we have seen the theory associated with the creative thinking. Now, we are going to see what are the means or what are the aids to enhance the creative thinking. So, there are basically few positive steps that you can have, or by these steps you can enhance your creative thinking. So what you have to do here, you have to follow some steps. So first point, develop a creative attitude. See, here, to become a creative thinker, you must have a creative attitude. Until and unless you will have this creative attitude, you are not going to develop anything. So you must have a self confidence that yes, I will start thinking, I will develop something, and of course you are going to land up with a proper solution. Now comes to the next step. What is that? Unlock your imagination. See, here one point, and that is very beautiful point. You must rekindle the vivid imagination you had as a child. So during your childhood, you were thinking in a different way. You were thinking in unimaginable solutions as well. And what is happening? Whatever you have thought during your childhood, now you can see those all are the product. So ultimately, if you want to develop something, unlock your imagination, think and explore, then try to implement. That is the second point. Now comes to the third point, be persistent. And yes, you have to be persistent. Here I just want to give you one example that Edison tested over 6,000 materials before he discovered the species of bamboo that acted as a successful filament for the incandescent light bulb. See, 6,000 materials he tested before he got the filament light bulb. See, 6,000 times he got failed. And nowadays, what is happening? If we are get failed during one time, second time, third time, we are becoming the patient of anxiety. So it's not like that. You have to become a persistent person. You have to self motivate, and you just be on the path that I am going to develop something. Okay. Now comes to here, what you have to do, you have to develop an open mind. You have to consider all others feedback as well. If someone is giving, you have to accept those points. You have to become a good receptor as well. Okay, so consider this point and accept others feedback as well, accept others design as well, and then start thinking. That is develop an open mind. Now comes to here, the next point is suspend your judgment. So you don't have to become a judgmental person here, because a judgmental person is going to have some kind of envy in front of others. So you don't have to become a judgmental person. You just accept others solutions as well. Okay, and contribute. And ultimately, here what you have to do, you don't have to criticize anyone. You just see what is their solutions are. Then comes to here, then the aids next adds set problem boundaries. So ultimately, what you have to do, if you want to design a pen, you must remember what sort of pen you want to design. Okay, so ultimately you have to set the problem boundaries. If you are not going to set the problem boundaries, then the time limited will not be there, time will be unlimited. Okay, then you are going to land, you want to design a pen, then you will end up with the other solution. So just be focused and just think what you want to design. Now comes to, there are some steps as well. Okay, so that some psychologists describe the creative thinking process and problem solving are happening in, there are four stages, and that stages are we are going to see now. So first stage is, oh sorry, the first stage is known as preparation, where we are thinking that the elements of the problems are examined and their interrelations are stages. Now here we have started to think about the problem, that is preparation stage. Then the second stage is known as incubation step. So here you sleep on the problem. Sleep disengages your conscious mind, allowing the unconscious mind to work on a problem freely. So now here you are, now your unconscious mind is also thinking about the problem. Okay, so here incubation of the problem started. Now comes to the third stage, and that the third stage is inspiration. A solution or path toward the solution emerges. So during that incubation stage, what you try to do, you try to gather the information related to the product, and from the third stage you are just now you are developing the solution. And the final stage is verification, where the inspired solution is checked against the desired result. So these are the stages, whereas preparation, incubation, then inspiration, and the last one is verification. So ultimately what you have to do, you have to use these all stages in this quote. And what is that? The comfort zone is the greatest enemy to creativity. You have to come out to your comfort zone. Now there are some barriers to creativity as well. And what are these barriers to creativity? Here you can see the perceptual block, stereotyping, information overload, limiting the problem unnecessarily, fixation, priming or provision of cues. Ultimately what you are doing, you are just giving the same solutions. That is the perceptual block. Sometimes emotional blocks as well, like you don't want to take the risk, you are not easy with the chaos, you are feeling unease with the chaos, unable or unwilling to incubate ideas. You are saying, oh, I don't want to develop, okay, I will be in my comfort zone. Motivation, lack of motivation. Then comes to the next blocks, that is the cultural blocks. People acquire a set of thought patterns from living in a culture. There are certain industries are tradition bound and are reluctant to change. You can see the example of BlackBerry. They were saying that we are not going to adopt the Android. Then what happened? You can see the downfall. Nokia, Kodak. Then countries even differ in their attitudes towards creative problem solution. These are the cultural blocks. When it comes to intellectual blocks, poor choice of problem solving language or problem representation. Sometimes you are unable to remember. Sometimes you are just putting yourself in a circle, that you are having a memory block. In terms of insufficient knowledge base, you cannot develop anything, and this is applicable for incorrect information. If you want to develop a pen, then you must have the information related to the pen as well. Now comes to the last block, and what is that? Environmental blocks. Whereas the environment, physical environment surrounding to your, that is the one of the most or the biggest barrier. And sometimes we are thinking, okay, if I am going to speak about this solution, people are going to criticize me, and you are, what you are doing, you are just stopping yourself. Okay, so these are the blocks, and these blocks are stopping yourself to become a creative person. Now here one quote is there, and it's, this quote says that creativity is experimenting, growing, taking risk, breaking rules, making mistakes, and having fun. So ultimately what you have to do, you have to experiment. You just take the risk, break the rules, make the mistake, and these mistakes are going to teach you many things. And ultimately if you are going to perform this kind of iterations, you, I am sure definitely you will become a creative person. Thank you so much.